Okay, hello and welcome to the 10th installment of my palette ranking series. That's taking me so long to do, but we're all in this journey together. I have a playlist of it. I always say I'm gonna link it and I literally always forget. I'll probably link it in the cards somewhere in this video. But if this is the first video that you're watching of this, go check out my other videos or watch this one, up to you, I guess. But basically, I'm just going through my palettes, all of them, or at least most of them, in batches of 10, ranking them, and then doing individual shadow swatches and, you know, full palette swatches, just because I love swatching videos. I love watching swatching videos. I find them the most relaxing thing in the entire world to me. So I just wanted to contribute to that in some way online. And I don't know, I just really love doing these. So without further ado, and just before I start, as always, I want to give credit where credit is due, where the whole idea of ranking makeup came from Kelsee Brianna J. So credit to Kelsee. She's super great. I will link her channel down below. And Lauren May Beauty inspired the individual shadow swatches of these palettes and shades. So I will link Lauren's channel down below, although you all know how much I love Lauren. All right, let's just get into it. So number 62 is where we are now, and that space goes to Kaleidos Futurism 2 Cyber Bronze. This is ranked the highest of all of the Futurism palettes from Kaleidos, and I just think that this is such a great neutral palette. This is one of my go-to neutral palettes. And I just love the shades in here. Honestly, I love the mattes more in a way than the shimmers, but I just love this whole little palette. I think it's a really great 6-pan, and yeah, I just really like it. It's not ranked super high, like in the very top, just because I tend to reach for palettes that are a little bit larger than 6-pans, but I mean, this is still super great. Number 61 is the Huda Beauty Wild Jaguar palette. I love this palette. I think it's such a great little smoky, cool toned 9-pan palette. I love the shimmers in here. They're super sparkly and beautiful. And I just really enjoy it. There are other palettes that I reach for more than this. So, you know, this is kind of ranked upper middle in my general collection, but I really like this. And this is ranked almost one of the highest Huda Beauty palettes that I have. Number 60 is the Sydney Grace and Tim Talia Radiant Reflection Palette. I really like this collection. This is the collection of palettes, these 3 palettes that launched together, but this is obviously the lowest in terms of ranking of all of those palettes. I just wish, I don't know what it is, but there's something about this color story as a whole that doesn't appeal to me as much as the other 2 and just in general. And while I like the formula of the shimmers, there are just other shimmers that I prefer. Formula-wise, these are mostly just like really nice metallics, but I tend to prefer something with a little bit more sparkle, and I don't know. I also kind of think of this palette as like 2 6-pans in a way, like looking at it this way and this way. So it's a little bit, it's not as cohesive as I feel like the other 2 palettes are, and other palettes in general in my collection. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels more of a mid-range palette to me, but I still do really, really like it. Number 59 is the BH Cosmetics Do Not Disturb palette. And again, I really like BH Cosmetics' formula. Similar to Sydney Grace, I feel like their mattes are beautiful and their shimmers are also beautiful, but I do prefer something with a little bit more sparkle to it, just if we're talking about like really comparatively wise, what I'm gonna rank like super high. These shimmers are nice, but not my absolute favorite. And I do, again, really like this color story. I like the formula. There's nothing wrong, I mean, with this palette or any of the palettes that I'm pretty much going to be talking about from here on out. But I don't know. I just like it, but there are other palettes, obviously, I like more. And then number 58 is another BH Cosmetics palette. This is the Fuck Off palette, which you can't really read, but oh my god, it's just like so like trying to be relatable and not succeeding at all. Anyway, I think this is honestly a really nice color story. I love the depth in here. I love the matte black. I love the dark purple and the dark green. It's just, again, more of a jewel-toned, deeper color story. There are other palettes that I just prefer more. I mean, this is kind of very mid-range, like this whole ranking section in general, but specifically these palettes, there's nothing wrong with them at all. It's more just about, like, there are just other things that I like more than them, ultimately. Number 57, I actually thought would end up higher, but it feels right to put it here. The Likely Makeup Ugly Palette. If you watch me, you know how much I really, really love this formula. I feel like the mattes specifically are beautiful mattes. Blend and build, and just they're absolutely gorgeous. I love the shade Ugly, as I think it's such a beautiful grungy green. The shimmers in this bottom row are nice. Not my absolute favorite shimmer formula, but I really, really do like it. I find that I reach for individual shades from here a lot, but again, as a palette, as a whole, it feels very rainbowy to me, and it's just not one, like as a color story, as a palette, that they're just other ones that I'm going to reach for above this one. But I love everything else about it. Formula-wise, packaging, really like it. Number 56, I just like the color story of this a little bit more. So the ColourPop Cabana Club palette is number 56. I think this is a really nice little like half neutral, half colorful color story. I think it works really, really well together, and there are pops of color, so you can do a like really colorful look, or you can do a really neutral look, or you can do a mix of both, which I really appreciate. And yeah, again, ColourPop isn't necessarily my favorite formula ever, but I do really enjoy it, and I just love the packaging. I do really like ColourPop's packaging as well, although not sure how I'm going to feel about them moving forward because of their Harry Potter collab. Anyway, number... 55, we have another ColourPop palette, the ColourPop Lush Life palette. I mean, the packaging, again, gorgeous, but similar to the Cabana Club palette. I know this palette's a little bit blinding, but similar to the Cabana Club palette, I feel like it's kind of half neutral, half colorful, and I really love the shades in here. I don't know, I just feel like because ColourPop isn't necessarily my favorite formula ever in the world, I'm not going to rank it that much higher than this because there are just other eyeshadow formulas that I love coming up, but I really do think this is a great palette. I love the color story, and there's no shame in being in this space, okay? These palettes have beat out a lot of other palettes. Number 54 is actually one that I thought I would rank lower, but the Kaleidos Escape Pod has managed to sneak its way to quite a high ranking because I just adore the shimmers in here. I think they're gorgeous. I love all the looks that I've, done and continue to do with this palette. I also reach for this periwinkle shade all the time, and yeah, the shimmers really edge this one out for me because they're so beautiful. And then finally, for this video, we have one of my very, very faves, Colored Raine Juicy Boost. I've used this to absolute death. I've talked about this constantly. I love this palette. I think it's so beautiful, and I feel like it's very underrated. I love pinks. I love this bottom row of warm tones, and then I love how they also have this blue-green row at the top. I love this dark green. These three shimmers are so pretty. I just, as a whole, wish this palette had more depth. If there was a dark, like, cranberry and then a dark brown in this palette, where this, like in this row where this dark matte green is, this would be so high. But because I always reach for other palettes to accompany this one, just to get more depth as a whole, this is where this palette is going to end up falling. But I love this color story. I love this palette. I love Colored Raine's formula. So this is where my beloved Juicy Boost landed. that, we have concluded the 10th installment of my ranking palettes video series. I hope you enjoyed this video, just like I always enjoy making them. Thank you so much for watching. I upload 3 videos a week if you want to stick around, and I would love to see you in my next one. Bye.